to yearofhitchcockmovies.com. We are your hosts, Jeff and Diane, and this is movie number 36, To Catch a Thief, from 1955. And tonight, well, we get to watch a movie with Alfred Hitchcock's favorite actress, Grace Kelly, and probably his favorite actor, Cary Grant, although James Stewart finishes a very close second. We're at movie number 2 of the multi-picture deal that Alfred Hitchcock signed with Paramount Pictures, and the first being last week's Rear Window. And we're at a point where it's the executives from Paramount that actually suggest the subject for the next movie, tonight's To Catch a Thief, and they suggest that he adapt a current best-selling novel called To Catch a Thief. It was published in 1952, written by David Dodge. And it being set on the French Riviera, I'm sure Alfred Hitchcock thought to himself, sure, but we have to film on location. As you recall, during the years where he was making those British films in Britain, they would, he and his wife and his friends would take vacations in France, in Saint-Moritz specifically. So this is pretty neat. He definitely jumped at the chance to combine business with pleasure. And he immediately assigned John Michael Hayes, his new favorite scriptwriter, to adapt the book and to write the script for this one. And boy, you know, it must be pointed out how good a writer John Michael Hayes is. You know, one of the reasons that Rear Window is so good and so funny and so well done even today is those clever, witty lines that Thelma Ritter, well, everybody gets to deliver in Rear Window, and it really is John Michael Hayes. We've talked about Alfred Hitchcock in previous reviews, that with all of the talents and genius that he brings to filmmaking, dialogue is not one of his gifts. So boy, he must have just been real happy with this. And you know, with regards to John Michael Hayes, it's so much more at this moment in time in 1955 than him writing snappy dialogue. He actually was in the process of pushing the envelope of what you could and couldn't say to get past the censors for these Hollywood movies. And tonight is a great example of that. And when you see some of the dialogue and the innuendo and things, the fact that they were able to get it past the censors is remarkable. So do watch for that. And we'll also monitor the progress with him and Alfred Hitchcock, because he will write the screenplay for the next 2 movies as well. He's done Rear Window, to tonight's To Catch a Thief, and he'll do next week's Trouble with Harry, and then finally The Man Who Knew Too Much. So we'll keep an eye on that. So Hitchcock wanted and got his favorite 2 actors. Grace Kelly was on board because of Rear Window. This is her 3rd and final film with Alfred Hitchcock. More on that in a bit. Cary Grant actually took a little bit of coaxing to get him on this project, because he had actually retired. You know, he's Cary Grant. He's 50. He's had a million successes. He's maybe not having as many successes anymore. He's feeling old. He's been sick a little bit, and you know, I also read that he kind of wanted to leave the acting to the serious actors, those method actors, the Marlon Brandos and the Montgomery Clift types. And he actually done, and you know, from a guy that was used to doing 1 or 2 movies a year, sometimes even 3, he made 1 in 1953, made none in 1954, and Hitchcock actually visited him in Palm Springs and brought him the script and really talked him into doing this. I think it was the chance to work with Grace Kelly, but apparently he loved the script and signed on, so very cool. You know, and yeah, because he was living in Palm Springs. He has a tan in this movie because he was living in Palm Springs. But it's a good thing he did, because Cary Grant will go on to make movies for 11 more years, including North by Northwest, which is a Hitchcock movie to come. A great movie with Audrey Hepburn called Charade, which is not an Alfred Hitchcock movie, but we love it. And he'll make another movie with Ingrid Bergman, not an Alfred Hitchcock movie, called Indiscreet. So boy, I'm sure glad he came out of retirement. So also in tonight's movie, you'll recognize from Dial M for Murder, John Williams. He played the inspector in Dial M for Murder. He's in tonight's movie. And if you've seen North by Northwest, the actress Jessie Royce Landis, who plays Cary Grant's mother in North by Northwest, she's actually playing Grace Kelly's mother in tonight's movie. She's in this. So we also have the usual suspects. That's what I'm going to call the dream team, really, with Robert Burks doing the cinematography again. He does the cinematography. We've had him since Strangers on a Train, and he'll do the cinematography on 12 of 13 pictures, culminating to this final movie with Hitchcock in 1964, Marnie, because he died in 1968. The costume designer, Edith Head, She's on board now since Rear Window, and boy, she certainly dressed up Grace Kelly in Rear Window. Look for that tonight. There's some great costume design. Yeah, she's in 10 of Hitchcock's final 14 movies. And someone I neglected to mention last week is George Tomasini. George Tomasini is the editor. He edited Rear Window, and he'll edit this one. And same thing, he'll work with Hitchcock in 9 out of the next 10 movies, up until 1964 Marnie, where George dies. Boy, stylish editing, cutting edge editing, fantastic stuff. And boy, Alfred Hitchcock and he were apparently very good friends. Alfred Hitchcock trusted him, loved him. You're really seeing everything just coming together, all the pieces of the puzzle as to why all these movies are great, why he can make 10 movies in a row that are wonderful, and it has a lot to do with all these pieces in the puzzle, so very cool. And lastly, the music tonight is done by a fellow by the name Lynn Murray, and it's worthwhile. This is his only Hitchcock film, but while he was finishing the score for tonight's movie, Hitchcock was ready to get going on the next project, next week's movie, and asked Lynn if he could do it. He said, no, but I've got a friend named Bernard Herrmann who can do it, and that is the crown jewel of this dream team. Bernard Herrmann will do next week's movie, and 8 in a row for Hitchcock, and we're talking Vertigo, we're talking the shower scene music in Psycho. There's a big reason as to why those movies are great too, and it's Bernard Herrmann, but we'll get into that. So good. Getting back to Grace Kelly, boy, that expression, life imitating art, and we don't want to spoil anything here, but the film, she's the daughter of a rich widow, and we have a cute little doggy, and they're the mother says they're in the south of France, on the French Riviera. They're shopping for a husband. Well, boy, in 1955. Grace Kelly goes to the Cannes Film Festival in Cannes in the French Riviera, and she'll actually end up meeting her future husband. She'll meet Prince Rainier, the Prince of Monaco, and you probably know this already, but that's it. They get married. So they meet even before tonight's movie was released in 1955, and they marry in April or so of 1956, and that's it for her. She retires from acting forever. And so tonight's To Catch a Thief. She goes back to the United States, to finish tonight's movie too. They did a lot of the interiors in Paramount Studios, but her second last movie is called The Swan, where she plays a princess. She'll go back, and in her last movie, and it's called High Society, where she'll play Tracy Lords, the remake from the Philadelphia Story with James Stewart in it. And that's it, she retires. And boy, Alfred Hitchcock wasn't too happy about that, because as I mentioned last week, early a few minutes ago, this really was his favorite actress. And again, because she gave him everything he needed, she was a total professional, and you really need to remember that she's just 25 in tonight's movie. She retires when she's 26, so Grace Kelly, very cool. So there's a cameo to look for in tonight's movie. You will not miss it. The movie that actually ends up winning an Oscar for Best Cinematography for Robert Burks, which is really cool for this color picture, and believe me, it is a beautiful film. So good. Let's watch this one from 1955, Alfred Hitchcock's To Catch a Thief. Let's watch.